Man, so we are here on the Undisputed GOAT podcast, man, live Sunday night, right doing Sunday night football, man. Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm just happy to be here, man. And I'm here with my world famous panel, the co-owners, not just the co-stars, the co-owners of the Undisputed GOAT podcast, that being Flash 22 and BRF Sports, man. How y'all doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. It's been a weekend. I was able to go to the gym earlier today, so it was good. Saturday's been what's up, Dwayne? Saturday was pretty decent and productive, so I can't really complain. But other than that, my fantasy football teams suck. But other than that, things are going pretty well.
BRF, man, how you doing, man?
Even with that piss poor performance from my guys today, I am doing pretty good today. I got to spend some time with my family. We grilled out, so I ate good. I mean, you can never go wrong with spending time with the family and having some good food. So, you know, enjoying the weekend before I get back on the grind. Another week of work tomorrow. My birthday's coming up in like another month, so I'm trying to decide what I want to do, what I want for it. But I can't complain. Right now, life's pretty good.
Life is good. Life is good, and God is good, man. I have to say that all the time, brother. All the time, man. Man, look, let's just get into it, man. We can't start this thing off without the quick hits, man. I have to ask this first, man, before we get into the meat and potatoes of it, before we get all into it, man. Who is the GOAT player of the week? Now, remember, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, the GOAT of the week is who had the best performance of this week, and this could be in any single sport. So, in y'all's humble opinion, who is the GOAT of the week?
Ooh. I have a few. I have a few. Well, I have a couple of names I want to throw out. But for one, I'm gonna throw out one from the defense, one from the offense from this situation. From my perspective, even though they lost today, Miles Garrett is about to win another Defensive Player of the Year award. I mean, 5 sacks, 5 sacks today. Dude, basically, he is the best defensive player, regardless of defensive position, in the National Football League. And I think it's a pretty decent gap as far as like the people behind him. Miles Garrett is just, even though he plays for a team with like a really bad offense, the defense, I mean, good Lord, I feel bad for that defense. I mean, that defense, if nothing else, that defense comes to play every single week, and they get absolutely nothing most of the time from that offense. And what Miles Garrett is doing is just, he is the best defensive player in football. He's the best. I know I had picked Patrick Surtain and maybe go back to back this year, but right now, man, how do you go against Miles Garrett? He's the most dominant force we've seen in a long time. And I feel like defensive player of the year. I feel like awards like that shouldn't necessarily go to someone just based on their record. It should just be their sheer performance. Miles Garrett is the best defensive player in football, and to come out with 5 sacks it's godlike on the football field. It's crazy. Offensive side of the ball, how is it not Jonathan Taylor? He's basically staking his claim to with the last couple of games that Bijan Robinson's had, and with him just steadily being on the up and up, he's become the clear front runner for the Offensive Player of the Year award. I mean, and I'm happy for him, because there were times he's stayed hurt a lot. People were like, "Man, is he already on the downside of his career?" And he's showing he's not. As a matter of fact, he's about to kick it back up into another notch. Where he was pre-injury. I mean, right now he's just playing the best offensive ball in the league right now. So shout out to Jonathan Taylor for what he's doing. Another 3-touchdown game. I think it's the first time in NFL history a player has had 4 straight games of at least 3 touchdowns against the same opponent, being the Tennessee Titans. So I mean, he Jonathan Taylor. When the Tennessee Titans and their fans see Jonathan Taylor, they see Daddy. It's pretty much what they see right now. So I mean, there's just nothing else to say. So yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Jonathan Taylor just for what he's been able to do on the offensive side of the ball this year. I think he's already got what 15 touchdowns this year already?
15 touchdowns already. 15 touchdowns, man.
15 already, and we got to see this boy in Dublin. And we got to see this boy in Dublin in 2 weeks. We got to see him in Dublin in 2 weeks. So it's like, good God.
Yeah, that's nasty. Flash. Ah.
Well, I mean, a little bit of my thunderstone from Dwayne and BRF about just the Colts offense in general. Danny Dimes is. I'm still I was trying to figure out today when I was watching the games. I'm like, what went wrong in New York? Like how do you go from what he was in New York to this? Because it's not like Jackson Dart is playing terrible. Jackson Dart actually looks pretty decent in some instances. So what was it? What was the issue that was causing the problems in New York for Daniel Jones to not do what he was doing, what he's doing now? I mean, 3 touchdowns, no picks, over 70% completion percentage. So he's right along with Jonathan Taylor on that Colts offense. So it's just rolling. I mean, they're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, and it doesn't look. Now I know they play the Titans, and the Titans are they're trash, but still, like, you're supposed to beat trash teams, and they're hurting on them, and that's what they did. So kudos to them. But I'm going to go a little bit of a shout out to my New England Patriots. Drake May, 282 yards, 75 percentage and completion percentage, 3 touchdowns. Even though Myles Garrett, BRF's defensive guy of the week, had 5 sacks against him. He still had 3 touchdowns. 18-24, and put a shellacking on the Browns. So the fact that he didn't let 5 sacks or Myles Garrett scare him to death, and he still got the job done, bravo. We're going now, ever since that upset of Buffalo, we're going on 3-4 weeks now. They got 5 straight wins. They're looking like a legit football team, when a lot of people thought, including me, that it was going to be maybe another year, and not everybody was completely sold on Drake May as a quarterback yet. And now in the last 4 to 5 weeks, he's been proven he is the franchise there. And so he's going in the right direction right now, and which is great for New England. And just great general for him in general. I mean, they're the number 2 seed, number 1. They're the number 1 in the AFC East, which nobody expected this far into the season. So, bravo to them.
I thought they had a shot to make the playoffs this year. So, hey,
I didn't. I'll just be honest. I didn't think they had a shot this year. I thought that they would. I thought Miami would be a lot better than what they have been. Even though what happened today was really weird. I thought that they had they have the talent on defense, but I just thought the offense was still another year away of adding a little bit more talent. But look, I'm not upset that they're looking this good right now. So, yay.
we get them next week.
Yep. So
We got to play the Patriots next week.
Yep. We go to New England next week.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
Bro, but here's the thing though. We're the biggest enigma in football. It's still a winnable game. We're the biggest enigma in football because it's still a winnable game.
If you say so.
Bro, you think I'm lying? You think I'm lying, but I'm telling you, just watch. It just wouldn't shock me if they punched up and did something next week. It wouldn't shock me at all.
I don't trust it because the thing is, look, exactly, PSP. I'm gonna just be real. The part of playing championship football, and people are gonna give you flack when you go out here just a lackluster team, is you have to beat the damn teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like what I said about New England. Like you're in Indianapolis. If you're a good football team, you go and beat those crappy teams.
Yeah, you go out there and you beat the hell out of them. And part of great coaching is you have to outcoach the teams you're supposed to outcoach. There's no damn way that Raheem Morris was supposed to let Mike McDaniels come out here and look like Bill Walsh or either George Seifert. There's just no way you should do that, and get yourself embarrassed at home.
See, PSP, that was going to be my turd of the week with Chicago. Yeah. Are we that was that. Thanks for stealing my thunder again. Everybody's stealing my thunder today.
Well,
But
the great minds think alike.
if all right, so my question is, is Caleb Williams garbage?
No, this is a new offense.
No.
This is a
Dude,
new offense.
hold up. I just want to point out, we thought that like Ben Johnson was come in, work wonders. They added more weapons, added help to the offensive line, and they went up against arguably the worst defense in football by leaps and bounds. And the offense was terrible. Terrible. And they only could muster 16 points. So what's the problem in Chicago? I'm not expecting like him to be
Wonders.
Patrick Mahomes, but I am expecting to see hope. And I don't see hope. That's my problem. It's always been. Now I'm Mr. McPatience. I'm always about patience. But right now, I don't see hope. And that's a big red flag to me.
I think. Look, second year. I gotta give you a little bit more time.
And they were on a 4-game winning streak before this game too. So I mean, they were playing good football. It's just one of them situations where I don't know why they didn't have them prepared this week, but I don't know. It's football. It's the variance of football.
I really don't know what to say about that. Like I said, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt because this is the second year. This is the first year in the new offense. First year playing with a lot of these players. But the thing is, if you go back and look at the game right before this, he even came to the press conference and said, "I played terrible." In last week's game, he said, "I played
He's not
terrible."
playing well.
Yeah, he's openly admitted it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt because you are the number one overall pick, and outside of that, I gotta give you the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, this is a new offense. This is a lot of new things. I love how you take accountability and nobody has to tell you that. All that cocky shit. I ain't got to worry about you being arrogant in the media or being Zach Wilson in the media. You know you're messing up. You know what you have to do. So I have to commend you for that, and I have to commend your accountability because if you know that your behind is playing terrible, then you know what it takes that you have to win. That's how come I'm not willing to just give up on him yet and say he's garbage at a certain point. But yeah, and to PSP's point, they went 4-2 last year, and they lost 10 straight. So let's hope that they don't do that this year because if they do, or what they said in Casino, what's that movie Casino, which we will get to later. Y'all seen that movie?
Not
It's been, I've seen it.
Remember what Remo had told Frankie at the near the end? If it is, then that's a problem. So
No problem.
it's a problem. So yeah, I want to see how it's going to come through on how you're going to address a lot of situations. I want to see your progressions because the beginning of the season, okay, what are you going to do in the second half of the season in Chicago?
Well, the thing that scares me, again, the thing that really worries me and scares me is, kind of to PSP's point is, I wasn't sold on Drake May, but like I saw some things and I'm like, okay, again, hope. I'm like, I see it. I just need it all to come together. Michael Penix, we're still on that wait and see, but it's there. Like you see the tools, you see like moments where you're like, okay, it just has to all come together. There are other quarterbacks.
I'm about to get into them in the next topic because I'm about to. Just hurry up. Hurry up.
And with Caleb Williams, I don't see much. Ooh, there it is. Okay, if we just put the rest of it together, it's there. And I don't see that part. I know I'm not putting like, but I mean, I'm looking at his stats. He is 9 touchdowns, 4 picks. He is, his rating's 90.2, which is, it's all right. But like, he's just not he's not playing. Like they've gotten by on their defense and a halfway decent running game. They haven't really won a game because of him.
Yeah, and
And
he's
so
acknowledged.
it's like I just look at you know, I guess I just don't see it. I think I see more out of Drake May right now than I do Caleb Williams, and I agree with PSP right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jaden Daniels hasn't been as good as he was last year. So we could see a fallback of Drake May. But I've seen more. Like put it this way: if you went into a game with whatever team and you're like, all right, I got to pick between Drake May and Caleb Williams right now to win me a football game, who are you picking?
Drake
Picking
May.
Drake May.
Okay, so and then I go through the starting quarterbacks in the league. How many quarterbacks are you legitly gonna pick Caleb Williams over to go and win you a football game?
Not many.
Not many.
But thus
The
far,
bottom, yeah, like maybe the bottom 8.
I pick
But
Kirk.
even still, there are some quarterbacks in the bottom 8. I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't. I would trust them over Caleb Williams. Just depends on who it is.
Here's a better one. Who would you pick to win you a football game? Tua or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Ooh.
I'm probably taking. I don't know about that one. I'm probably taking Caleb Williams there. I don't trust Tua at all to win a big game and late in the game. I don't. I don't. I don't.
I'm
I
just saying,
don't.
like, I'm not saying he's got to go win you a playoff game. I'm just saying he's got to
No,
go win you a game. Like, you're going to rely on him to win you a football game.
I'm taking Caleb Williams over Tua to win a game. I'm taking Caleb Williams over Tua to win a game.
Oh, I'm taking. That's another
I'm
one.
not taking.
Caleb Williams,
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. I want to look up. Let's see, NFL starting quarterbacks.
So I got to ask y'all this real quick. We're just going to skip that part of the goal of the week because my goal of the week was the Philadelphia Eagles in that running game. Take Bixby and Saquon. Those are my goals of the
They
week.
both got 100.
Over 100. Beat the hell. And look, prayers up to my guy who I picked for Rookie of the Year, Cam Scatterboo. And I hate
Ugh.
that happened to him, man. That was What's so funny about that injury? Well, it's not funny. You get what I'm saying. What's so crazy about that injury? He was still trying to stand up when they went over there and got him.
Yeah, he was trying to stand up.
I think he was. You ever see those UFC fighters that break their
break their leg?
Yeah, they break their shin bone on a leg kick and they try to stand up immediately, right? Like they don't notice it as I think that's what happened with.
Yeah,
that's what happened with him.
Yeah, he was still trying to stand up. That was just legit. That was just toughness. So now that we're on the red flag of the week, look, I'll go first on this one. Look, I'm just gonna be very brutally honest, and I just have to be honest. It has to be Atlanta. It has to be. We're in the middle of an identity crisis at this point. What do we want to be? And I really kind of felt like after that first series, I kind of knew it was over. And I shouldn't feel that way, even with the backup in there. And we're in the middle of identity crisis. We didn't try to run the ball. I mean, I understand that we're trying to pass a little bit more, and we got to get the passing game involved. But if something works, let it work. Let's stop trying to be all fancy. It doesn't matter how you win, just win. And the fact that we could not matriculate the ball down the field at a certain point, we were just terrible. We were terrible. And against the Miami Dolphins, they came out there, they put a whooping on us at home. They put a whooping on us real, real bad at home. So that's just how I look at it. It was we really have to gain the respect and the trust of the fans back at a certain point. There has to be something that the team has to do in order to get the trust back in the fans. Because right now, I don't think the fans trust the process at this point. There's hope, but very, very little hope. It's just 1 week, and I don't believe ain't no damn way that dude play tight end, man. That's a big ass lineman playing tight end right there, bro. That is a damn lineman, dude. Tucker Craft is a lineman.
He's a big boy.
That is a big. How tall is he? Like 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah.
Good God! And
And running like that—that's the scary part.
he is. That's like we say down south, boy. That's a grown ass man right there, man.
I
That's a
said,
grown.
I said in the preseason, that boy, that boy coming.
That is
He one of them
that is
ones.
a grown man right there. But
6'5", 260.
damn,
He one of them ones. He one of them ones. I'm telling you.
shit. Man, that's an offensive line, bro. That is an offensive line. But yeah, man. There has to be some. There's an identity crisis with the Atlanta Falcons, and right now it's ugly. It's ugly. And Carolina Panthers, they lost today, but they're still ahead of us in the division from what it looks like. Just trying to check and make sure. But they had a big loss today, yet they're 4-4. So they're
They're
ahead of.
4-4. Yeah, they're like a half a game in front of us.
So yeah, and
And
then
really, it's a full game because they beat us.
there's 4 games because they beat us. So right now, playoffs, yeah. This is how come I didn't get too involved when everybody said championship, championship, championship. I was more like, look, we'll just wait because you know it's kind of like a Bud. They're more Miller Lite than Bud Light. You know, remember remember when they used to say making a Bud Light the taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Yeah.
That's what the Falcons they'll fill you up and then let you down. So
I drank the Kool-Aid. I gotta admit, I thought I said last week I thought that they had the makeup of a team. Now I did say it depends on Penix, but I thought they have the running game, they have the defense, they have a great pass rush. I thought the tools are there. But after today, I was shocked.
and a
Like,
lot of that had to do with Kirk Cousins, and a lot of that had to do with the play calling. A lot
All
of
of that had to do with the play calling.
and a lot of it had to
All
do
of that had to, all of
only
that had to
two,
do with the play calling.
only two first downs in the first half. Two first
All
downs.
of that had to see. All of that. See, let me go ahead and have this. All of that had to do with the play calling. Zach Robinson need to get the hell out of Atlanta. That had every bit to do with the play calling. You have Bijan Robinson. You have Tyler Algier. You know Drake London. Drake London was announced out before that game. You know you don't have him. Why aren't Bijan and Tyler Algier at least touching the ball 15, at least 20 times a piece in this game? You have to make Kirk Cousins as comfortable as possible in that situation because he has not played. He hasn't played since week 15 of last year. You have to make him as comfortable as possible being back in that game. You cannot rely on him to throw the ball like that, being away as long as he have, and thinking you're going to have a shot. Even against the Miami Dolphins, who have athletes on defense. They don't have the greatest defense in the world, but they showed today they have athletes on that defense. They have Jordan Brooks. They have Jalen Phillips. They have athletes on that defense. Any defense in the NFL to get a lead, you turn them loose. They have athletes on the defense. Zach Robinson, I have never advocated for a coach to be fired mid-season because I try to stay loyal to my team. Zach Robinson got to go. You have too much talent. You have too much talent on that offense. Even without Drake London being there, you still have Kyle Pitts. You still have Bijan Robinson. You still have Tyler Algier. You could have came up with a proper game plan to basically, you could have ran the Buffalo game plan all over again. I even called it. I said Michael Penix will not throw the ball more than 35 times in that Buffalo game. He threw it 32 times. Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier dominated that game as a collective from first quarter to fourth quarter against the Buffalo Bills and that defense. Everybody that's going to try to harp on the defense for how they look today, you can't do nothing when you're on the field 2/3 of the game because you're going to get tired. When your offense isn't producing, your defense can't keep their energy up. They're going to get gashed. And later on the game, and as the game progressed, you saw it. When the offense wasn't moving the ball, they started getting gashed. And the gashes got bigger because they were tired. Zach Robinson is showing me more. He's predictable. You can guess him because you know when he's in. People keep. Here's the thing, though. I don't have a problem with them running the pistol formation at all. The problem is they're not creative out of it. They don't show any unpredictability. They don't show any creativity out of pistol. You know when they're in pistol, they're gonna run. You know when they're in shotgun, they're gonna pass. When the defense know what you're gonna do pre-snap, they could just load the box. I mean, this was like one of Bijan Robinson's worst games as a pro because they know when he's in pistol, they're going to they're gonna run the ball. You have a Kirk Cousins. You know he's not mobile like that. You could have lined him up under center a lot more, played more traditional offense with him. You pound Bijan, you pound Tyler Algier. That Miami Dolphins defense, as good as they look today, was predicated on the fact that our offense didn't do nothing and they looked like they weren't prepared. That is Raheem Morris and that is Zach Robinson. If they do not make the playoffs this year, they both have to go. The only coach I want to keep from this staff is Jeff Ulbrich because of what he's done for that defense. Today was not his fault. Today was not his fault. That was squarely and primarily on the offense and their ineptitude and how they look today. Because of Zach Robinson absolutely has no idea how to game plan on a week-to-week basis. He's got 10 games. He's got 10 games. This one. And I know people are going to be like, this one. And I know people are going to look at 30-0. No. The reason why this loss was worse, that Carolina game, they only had 224 total yards of offense. That was Michael Penix looking uncomfortable, making mistakes. And the thing is, it was 30-0, but it didn't feel like that huge of a beatdown. What just happened was it's kind of like what happened today. The reason why this was worse is because you saw what happened to Miami the week before against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns dominated them both sides of the ball, physically, mentally, emotionally. They broke their will. And then in 1 week, the Atlanta Falcons just looked like they had no clue what was going on. That is a coaching issue. The only coach I want going into 2026, if it keeps looking like that, is Jeff Ulbrich. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson has to go if they don't get it right in these 10 games. And that schedule is not easy. They have New England next week. They have Indianapolis and Dublin. And then you still got to see the Rams. You still got to see the Bucks again. I mean, this schedule is crazy. It's the Zach Robinson guy. If there's anybody I'd want to fire right now, it's Zach Robinson. It's like, and the thing I hate about him the most was he actually made some strides. His first year as an offensive coordinator last year, I thought he was going to come in, he was going to open it. I'm talking about open the whole thing up for Michael Penix, and it's like he's regressed. Your offensive coordinator should not regress in year 2. It shouldn't. If there was anybody I'd want to fire now, it's him. Because he has shown an ineptitude of how to call plays. You have too much talent on the offensive side of the ball to only score 10 points against the Miami Dolphins. It's inexcusable. He got to go. If I'm firing anybody now, it's him. And if they don't get it right in these next 10 games, they probably clean up shop with that whole coaching staff. And that's unfortunate because Jeff Ulbrich has done nothing wrong to lose his job after this year. It's Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson's fault. And it's a shame because this team should be neck and neck with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this division. But we're 3-4 in third place. It's coaching. It is coaching. And if they don't get it right, they both need to go. I would give Zach Robinson the pink slip right now, as far as I'm concerned. He does not. He's in over his head as an offensive coordinator, and I can't believe I'm saying that about him because he showed. Coming from the McVay tree, you would feel like he understands innovation and creativity in offense. It's like out of all the coaches we could have got in the offensive coordinator carousel last year, we got the worst one.
Crazy, right? Crazy.
It's insane. We got too much talent on both sides of the ball. And I'll say this before we move on. Yes, we didn't have Drake. We didn't have Drake on offense. We didn't have on defense. Zach Harrison's out. Devon Diablo's out. Billy Bowman's out. Jalen Walker's out. Those are like those are arguably your 4 biggest contributors on the defensive side of the ball this year. All gone. But even still, you should have the talent to beat the Miami Dolphins. and you let them literally come into your trap and take over your trap and ate your food and left the door open on their way out. That's what happened.
Hey, how did Ravisher Rick Rude said, came into your house, turned over the garbage can, made your old lady make him a T-bone, beat, punched your Doberman in the mouth, and then walked out.
And walked out.
So, hey, got a lot of soul searching to do.
They're
Flash,
my red flag. They're my red flag and my loser of the week. I don't even need to talk about the next topic. They're both of that for me.
Flash.
I mean, I kind of covered mine. I thought it was the Caleb Williams and the Bears. That's my big red flag. I don't know. I expected. I even going into this weekend, I was like, well, all right, if you're going to show out and finally show what this offense or what Ben Johnson was supposed to like cultivate in this offense with this talent, this is the week to do it, and they just didn't at all. Like if they shat the bed, and that's a big red flag to me. That's a huge red flag to me.
Hey, I don't blame you on that one. I will have to put the Cincinnati Bengals in there as well. Because when you score 38 points, when you score over 30 points and you still can't win a game,
You had a 31-16 lead
yeah, they blew it. They blew it up
against the Jets.
against the Jets.
Yeah,
and Justin Fields.
yeah, that was nasty.
Made him look all pro today.
I think. Look, I'm just gonna be real, man. I still think he has a little bit of growing to do. I know between Chicago and now him coming to the Pittsburgh and did the New York Jets, I think he still has a little bit of growing to do. And once he puts it all together, he can have a few good seasons. I really think that about Justin Fields. He's kind of poised. He doesn't let stuff bother him too much. I mean, I like the way he handles the media. There's a lot of he has a little bit more of a learning curve, if you really want me to be honest with you.
His Justin Fields' biggest thing is still his accuracy. For me, it's still his accuracy. He needs to still kind of work on because he's got the arm strength. He obviously has the mobility and the legs. It's his accuracy and his anticipation on throws that's still the thing that gets to me with Justin Fields.
I don't. I'm kind of look. I'm one of the guys that like was all about Justin Fields coming out of college, and I'm kind of out on the Justin Fields train. I am of the his ceiling. If everything goes right, his ceiling is like Geno Smith.
To me, no, I think he can be a little better than Geno.
I'll say
he can be a little better. I think he can be a little better than Geno.
I'll say Cordell Stewart.
I think his best years were like in Chicago. Like I mean, and I could probably and the stats probably back that up too. He
was getting like he wasn't necessarily getting MVP votes, but he was finishing like top 12 in MVP voting in Chicago.
So
he was running for his damn life too. So
what?
He was running for his damn life too.
I think he's just. Like I said, I think he just is what he is. I don't. We're at that point now. Like we're what, year 6? I mean, where are we at? Let's see, New York Jets.
I think. Because he came. Let me see. It was him and Lawrence and Pitts. They were in the same draft.
Yeah.
So 21. So
1, 2, 3, 4. We're in year 5.
We're in year 5, yeah.
We're in year 5. Like like his best year was probably 2022 and 2023, and they weren't that great. Yeah. And I just don't see it. I don't see the thing where I go, "Yep, there it is."
Yeah.
Yeah. Vince Young, but like not even as good as Vince Young. Like Vince Young was way better than him, like his rookie year. He's just not. Look, and this is me. Like I was wrong about him. Because I thought he was going to have a better career than Trevor Lawrence, and I mean I'm not off by that.
That ain't saying much because ain't like no, I guess Trevor Lawrence got the playoff appearance, but still, yeah.
It's so I'm not, I'm not quite, I'm just not. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes, man. Who is the biggest winner of this week? Like, who's the most dangerous team in the NFL? I'm going to go first. The Denver Broncos. I think they're the most dangerous team in the AFC right about now. When you look at the landscape of it, I know that Indianapolis has the best record in the NFL, but when you really look at it, as far as talent goes and how complete their team is, yeah, I don't think there's a team that can match talent with Denver at this point in time. Other
Yes,
than
there is.
I'll say the
Yes, there
Philadelphia,
is. Yep.
I'll say the Philadelphia
Them.
Eagles.
Yep.
But
Yep.
other than
And
that,
them. Yep.
but other than that, I think they're the best team in the AFC right about now.
Well, um, Indianapolis can beat them. Indy can beat them. Indy can beat them. Kansas City off of pedigree could beat them. Um, I'm not sleeping on the Chargers. Um, Denver's not. I don't think Denver's far and away the best team in the AFC in my opinion. Because I still think Bo Nix is the X factor with him. Because I still think you can rattle Bo Nix. Um, I think best team. I think best team in the AFC. Like I said, I would give. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not ready to count. Like Kansas City's starting to play better ball, so definitely watch out for them. Um,
I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm just going to stick with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
They're 6-2. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is probably 1-1A when it comes to MVP race. I mean, he keeps getting wide receivers injured, and he just keeps on going. So I just want to. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. They've been the most consistent team pretty much all year. I do like Denver a lot. I also think that they have Sean Payton as their head coach, which is a huge advantage right there. I think that's something that doesn't get brought up enough. I mean, yeah, of course you got Philly just hanging there. That they're the defending champs, yada yada yada. But if we're talking about like non-defending champs, I like Tampa Bay right now. I just do. They're playing really well. They're playing good football. I just love the fact that Baker Mayfield is following up the GOAT, and that's hard enough in and of itself, and what he's doing. So I'm just going to give that team props.
Yeah.
I do love Denver, and I really do. I do like Denver a lot. I think they have a really great mix of talent. The thing that scares me about Denver is if Kansas City is truly getting their shit together, is like when we get down to the nitty gritty at the end of the season and Denver has to go into like Arrowhead or something like that, can they overcome that? And so that's my thing. I want to kind of look at the Broncos schedule real quick. They play the Chiefs week 11 and then week 17 in Arrowhead. So that's my thing. Can they, if the division is on the line supposedly in week 17, can they go into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes and Reed? That's my thing. That's it. But Love got killed. Oh, come on. Look, I'm a Packer fan, but it's a clean hit for crying out loud. It's football. Oh, okay.
Oh, they didn't call it?
No, it was legal hands to the face.
Yeah.
Or illegal, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So I thought it was a clean hit out of the quarterback. But yeah, I'm going to say Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is just fantastic.
Okay. Real quick. Is Drake May an MVP candidate? Real quick.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Okay, I want a definition of what MVP candidate is. Does he get a vote, or is he like is he consideration for winning it? There's what's
He's
the
getting. He's gonna get. He's at as where we stand right now. If he didn't get votes, I would be upset.
Yeah, I
He
think
should
he's
get votes.
I think he's the MVP candidate. But we're gonna go back. We're gonna come back to that question a little bit later. That is just a tune-up for what we have a little bit later. We're gonna be talking about who is the NFL MVP and if it will in fact be a quarterback this year, because there's a slight chance that it won't be. But for my Atlanta Falcons, I have to give you this sound right here. Because your ass is terrible. You are a shit sandwich and a soggy one at that. So let's move on. So
I think
look,
you just want to play with these new noises, and it's
That's
hilarious.
all it is. I told you. I told you before the show. You done gave this man a soundboard. Now hell finna break loose.
I
hey
guess
man,
I also said just be thankful that I'm not controlling it.
hey man,
Oh,
look,
you
man.
be worse. Oh,
Hey
you
man,
be
look.
worse. I already
Hey man,
know.
look. Just be happy I ain't got the right sound effects right here, man. Because I
Yeah.
make some stuff out here, man. So,
Oh boy. Yeah, you right.
yeah, be grateful because I get us kicked off the air with some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. You right.
Yeah, you know, it's but hey, look. Let's shift from the let's shift from the gridiron to the hardwood. You know, pause. But let's shift, and we have to talk about.
I was trying to keep a straight face, but once you hit the pause, it was over. I was like, damn.
Yeah, pause. I mean, let's go from the
Oh Jesus.
let's go from football to basketball. Look, a lot of stuff that happened in basketball this year, stuff that we haven't seen in a long time. We saw things like this happen in basketball before. We saw the Boston College gambling scandal when they were shaving points. We saw, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I remember me and my father, me and him having to talk about this when I was a young kid. I don't know if y'all remember the Arizona State case, the Stephen Headache Smith, where he
Yeah.
got caught
Mm-mm.
shaving points down there in Arizona State. Then you had the Tim Donahoe situation. Then, on and on and on. Now you have actual players that have been involved. You have Chauncey Billups being involved in high stakes poker games, hosting these poker parties, and they have, games that can, they're rigged poker games. They got games that are X-rayed and all of that. Then you have Damon Jones, Coach Jones, who was basically giving insider information to other gamblers. And then you have Terry Rozier faking injuries and getting ejected in order to feed information out to people who are gambling on him. What do y'all think about this? Like, how bad is this going to get? Like, is this like super bad, or is this going to be like the Michael Jordan gambling scandal? Is it going to be like an in and out? Is it going to be like the Tim Donahoe scandal, in and out? Is it going to be like one of those, or can we see this getting really, really bad? Or will the controversy attract more viewers? Everybody, unfortunately, these days, everybody loves some damn drama. They love drama. So, what do y'all think, man? We'll start with you, Flash.
You know, um, for years, okay. So let's go with your first question on how bad this could get. It honestly depends on how bad the federal government wants to go after them and the DOJ. That's it. I mean, Dwayne made that Kevin Garnett is one of the victims of this. There are other players that are possible of victims of this. Um, have been players that have come out and said that this is way worse than anybody thinks. I think Gilbert Arenas came out and said, like, this is the tip of the iceberg type shit.
Of course, he would know. You saw what he had in that little bag, right?
Dude, but I just want to point out right now though, like, the person that looks the worst right now, besides all the people that were, is Adam Silver. Adam Silver looks like one of the worst commissioners to ever walk onto and walk into any job like that whatsoever.
Hold on. Who's worse, him or Kathy?
Him by far.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Kathy's just got some bad sound bites.
Kathy's just arrogant as crap.
Yeah, like there's a difference between bad sound bites and like, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Tell me that you fully believe that the Luka trade wasn't orchestrated and then Cooper Flag wasn't the consolation prize.
Wouldn't shock me at all.
Tell me you believe that was just totally organic and it just happened to happen.
And yeah, I'm sorry for them to trade Luka and to get the number 1 overall pick. Ain't no way that
No.
didn't. Ain't no way.
That's just like when and everybody knew it when it happened to. Everybody's like,
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. That was fishy as hell. If you really want me to be honest, look, y'all know me. I try to be as PC as possible. Number one,
Fishy as hell is being nice.
No.
I'm a nice guy. But
There have been a couple times in the last like 10 to 12 years when no matter what is going on in the world, like politically or whatever, there's been a couple times that people have come together regardless of political leanings. One was when Jeffrey Epstein hung himself or killed himself, and everybody kind of gave the, yeah, I don't believe that bullshit. I don't think so.
Why did you have to bring that shit up?
You know, right?
Because I mean, he ain't wrong.
And then when I'm telling you, and then it happened too. When Dallas got the number 1 pick, everybody went, I don't believe that bullshit either. Like, and now that I just want to remind everybody, Adam Silver did his own investigation on Terry Rozier himself and cleared him. Well, boy, like you can think of. I don't give a shit what you think about Kash Patel and the Trump administration and the DOJ currently around the FBI. Like, I don't give a crap what you think. If they have something, the federal government doesn't go after people unless they have something. So, what did Adam Silver in the league sweep under the rug? I mean, this looks bad on so many levels. I mean, Damon Jones is one of LeBron's best friends.
Yeah.
Like, this goes like to the face of the league the last 20 years. I'm not saying LeBron is implicated at all. That's not what I'm saying. But if it came out that he was, would I be shocked? Fuck no. Like, this is bad. This is really bad. And to finish the point of you asked, like, is this going to get swept under the rug or not? I mean, I kind of touched on it at first. It depends on how bad the DOJ wants to go after this. I'm for the federal government getting involved because there's been rumors for years and of the NBA being rigged. And look, I'm from Milwaukee, dude. I still maintain to this day that 01 Eastern Conference Championship game, and even the guys like Bill Simmons have come out and said multiple times that was rigged as fuck.
Oh, you talking about they was trying to get Allen Iverson and the Lakers in the championship?
Absolutely. And on top of it, Milwaukee was one of the only teams that swept the Lakers during season 2.
So yeah, that was. But the thing is, that wasn't the only game. I'm a diehard Laker fan, but y'all know me. I'm not a biased fan. I am not a biased fan. Yeah, I was a mere child at that point. I was 14 years old. But you're really looking at like, what the fuck is going on around here? 27 free throws? You kidding me?
Yep. And look at the Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks the first time around.
Yeah.
With Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
San Antonio and there's been. I mean, there are rumors going back to that the draft lottery with Patrick Ewing.
Look, interesting story because I wanted to bring this up. Remember, Shaq actually did an interview, and he says, I know y'all seen this. He said, God rest his soul, David Stern asked him, hey, would you rather be at a place warm or would you rather be at a place cold? Mm-hmm. He asked him that, and Milwaukee and Orlando had Milwaukee and Minnesota, as a matter of fact, had the first 2 overall picks, and And he ended up getting drafted number 1 to Orlando. Christian Laettner went number 2 to the Timberwolves, and then remember Lonzo Mourning, he went number 3 to the Charlotte Hornets. And
The
this,
Hornets.
Order. It was Shaq. Alonzo Mourning was 2 to the Hornets. 3 was Leitner to the Wolves. Jimmy Jackson went to Dallas. LaFonso Ellis went 5 to Denver. Tom Gugliotta went 6 to the Washington Bullets.
yeah.
Todd Day went 8 to Milwaukee. But yeah, Shaq was.
Yeah, he asked, "Did you want to go somewhere warm or you want to go somewhere cold?" He was like, "I'd rather go somewhere warm." Then he got drafted by the Orlando Magic.
I'm curious of what the draft with the actual lottery, how that went down, like who had the best percentages and all that kind of stuff that year.
To be honest with you, Orlando had one of the best chances in order to win because they were an expansion team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they were an expansion team. Where they start calling foul play was this. Where they start calling foul play is the very next year. They didn't have a good percentage in order to win, and they won the number 1 overall pick again. They won it back-to-back years. So, yeah, so that's what people start calling foul play. You know, it was like, how the hell you get the first overall pick back-to-back years? You're trying to make this team great a little bit quicker, but hey, man, look, there's a lot of rumors about the NBA being rigged, and I don't necessarily look. I'm just gonna be real. Here's my opinion about it. I could be wrong. I might sound like a fool, but this is just my opinion. Sometimes I do believe it is, but I don't think the players, for the most part, have anything to do with it. I think it's them damn refs. I think that's why you see a lot of ticky-tack calls. I think that's why you see a lot of what they was calling it this year when we was watching the W. They was calling it that little special whistle. When you see certain players, I don't believe that it's rigged fully, but I believe there's certain games where you just like, this ain't supposed to go 7 games, but for some reason this first round is going 7 games. A lot of ticky-tack calls, a lot of extending the play. You know, stuff like that. I believe a lot of the refs are kind of juiced in on it. Because if the players, if they were juiced in, if they were in on it, then it'll be a lot of stupid little mistakes. But when you really think about the refs being on it, it's like, if you really look at basketball, sometimes it's like, and even football, it's like, the players ain't got to be in on this shit because the damn referees are going to make sure whoever wins. Like earlier today, I know I said the Philadelphia Eagles, they were my team. They were my team to go the performer of the week. But that tush push, that was a fumble.
Kayvon Thibodeau, I mean, that was a clear strip. You can see that clear day.
That was a clear fumble. And it's just like, you got to ask yourself how much of an impact that had on the game. And to Dwayne's point, man, those Kevin Love videos, boy, Kevin Love is a national treasure.
He speaking of Kevin Love before you move on, he's got a picture on his IG where he took the he photoshopped the picture of the couple that was at the game. Yeah. He photoshopped Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier's head on it.
Yeah, he took that off because Dame Lillard told him don't do that. So he took that down.
I think the biggest hit right now is I think what this really causes down the line is the government regulating sports betting and the leagues, all the leagues, not just the NBA, leagues affiliation with betting in general. Because I think everybody had a little bit like when all the leagues were like all of a sudden started to like, yeah, we're okay with gambling, that's fine, you know, and then they started advertising and stuff like that. I think that's going to go away. I look, and to bring politics into it for a second. Trump has always had a
vendetta against sports law.
Well, the NFL, particularly, because he tried to be an owner years ago, and they shut him out.
Well, he tried to be the owner several times. That's the reason why, you know, he tried to be the owner in the 80s.
Yeah. And
he tried to be the owner in the 80s. Matter of fact, he tried to buy the Dallas Cowboys before
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones did, yeah.
Yep. So he tried to buy the Buffalo Bills, too.
He tried to buy the Buffalo Bills. Bon Jovi actually tried to buy the Buffalo Bills as well. That would have been interesting. So
he's always had like a vendetta with the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of this investigation went into the Biden administration with the NBA. Some of this went into that. So this wasn't like I'm not asking. I'm not saying that this one was politically motivated, but I'm just saying though, if I'm the other leagues, I'm mind, especially when it comes. I'm especially the NFL. I'm minding my p's and q's right now because everybody loves a good sports scandal, and I just for years while the Chiefs were the calls that the Chiefs were getting,
yeah,
everybody questioned that too, and just saying.
I mean, and this for the people who are watching out there who was just, how do we say it down south, who were born last night? This won't be the first time that Congress has been, in sports business. Remember the steroid scandal?
Yeah.
Right.
They had to
The
put.
Mitchell report.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Remember that they had to, and not only that because of Donald Fear. You remember Donald Fear, don't you? Y'all the baseball guys on the show, but I remember
Oh,
Donald
yeah.
Fear, and he was.
I know his name too well. Yeah, I
Look,
know his name all
yeah,
too
Donald.
well. Yep.
Look, I would just be real, bro. If there was ever a guy who you need on your side in order to be in your players association for a long period of time back in those days, it was Donald Fear. Because those damn owners were scared to death of him. Those baseball owners were scared to death of Donald Fear. And he wouldn't let them test anything. And this is, you talk about player movement, all of that came from Donald, all of that stemmed from Donald Fear. People talk about that and complaining about it in the NBA right about now. That stemmed from Donald Fear. So yeah, that was wow.
I also want to point out like the thing that isn't given, like the mafia is involved in this shit.
Well,
This is old school. Like,
no, the thing is, people are talking about. No, what's so funny about that is that I'm gonna mind my tongue real quick because I don't want to find it on the floor in the morning. So I'm gonna mind my tongue real good. Yeah. And you know why. So I'm gonna mind my tongue real quick. But the thing is, people are actually on the internet saying, "I didn't even realize the ball was still around," and you're looking at them like, "You idiot! What are you talking about?" It's just like the boss just got arrested. The boss got arrested back in the day, and they just started doing it the old ways. That was just how it is. Like I stated, I'm gonna mind my tongue because anybody who thought that the mob was over just because John Gotti went to jail, the most recognizable mob figure arguably in history, then you were a fool if you thought that. The thing is, the mob built Vegas, people. The mob built Vegas. Bugsy Siegel, Benny Siegel, not the rapper, Bugsy Siegel, the original Benny Siegel, built Vegas. As a matter of fact, the original Las Vegas, I live right across the river from it, Phoenix City. I live right across the river from the original Las Vegas, if that being in Phoenix City. So the mob, you talk about gambling and the mob, it's going to always be hand in hand. And the thing is, people are going to sit here and talk about, well, sports betting. Look, this is not the first time. Look, ESPN, you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. We'll get to that in a minute, PSP. You're not fooling anybody, ESPN, because you saw how they tried to take the little bet sign off there real quick in order to
Yep.
look. I remember when Hank Goldberg, y'all remember Hank Goldberg?
Yep.
I remember when Hank Goldberg, long before he used to come on ESPN and talk about gambling and who to place your bet on. So long before ESPN even had a partner, even partnered with gambling, they had people on Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek, he used to bet and he used to tell people who to gamble on. So y'all are not fooling anybody with these little antics because Jimmy the Greek used to tell people who to gamble on, not to mention Hank Goldberg. He used to tell people who to gamble on. So y'all are not fooling anybody, especially me. And look, I gotta touch on this real quick. Y'all see Jaylen Brown said, they shouldn't have brought in gambling, they have to protect the players better. Look, man, just because they put a steak in front of my face, that don't mean I gotta eat it.
Yeah.
Let's just be
Well,
real.
it's like what Jack said too. There's a saying that's saying that there's good money and there's bad money.
No, and the thing is, look, look. Let's just be real. I'm not condoning anything, but let's just be very brutally honest. Back when Shoeless Joe Jackson was doing it, yes, it was wrong, but I understand. Owners would not negotiate their contract. There wasn't really a collective bargaining agreement. You had trash men that were making more than Shoeless Joe Jackson before he got another contract.
Yeah, well, and usually those guys had to have a job
Yeah,
on
they had
top
to
of
have the
playing
job.
ball.
Top of yes. The thing about y'all know who Bob Pettit is, don't you?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The funniest thing about Bob Pettit, he retired from the NBA because he had a job, but he had this big time job at the bank. That was the thing. He had this big time job at the bank that was getting ready to hire him, and they was going to pay him like $100-something odd dollars or $50-something thousand dollars a year. Like, I mean, it was up there as far as salary, and that was like twice as much he was making in the NBA. And that's Bob Pettit, one of the all time greats. He used to be the all time leading scorer. Back in those days, I could understand gambling. I could understand sports. Like I said, when a trash man is making more than I am, I'm pretty pissed off about it, and I'm one of the best players in the league. Mind you, this is in the 1900s, the 1910s, 1900s. You know, especially when you got Babe Ruth, he was making like $100,000 a year. You had Joe Louis later on down the line, he was making 400 grand a year. There's 400 grand a fight. So I understand why those, although it was wrong, I can pretty much understand. No collective bargaining agreement, no players union. You're at the mercy of the team's ownership. You're on the mercy of his management. I understand. These days, I do not understand why the blank you need to gamble in the first place if you know it's against the rules. You don't need the money. You don't need the money. The average NBA salary is $8 million a year. That's on average. What's so funny? Why they trying to get the reason why they're trying to get a salary cap up there in the MLB because the average salary, if they don't get a salary cap, is gonna be $10 million a year. $10 million a year, hell, you can give me that, and I can go about my business for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So that's the reason why I don't understand. I understand what Jaylen Brown said about protecting the players and things of that nature, but the thing is this: you don't have to eat a steak just because it's in front of you, and you're making millions of dollars. You gambling $200,000. If gambling $250,000 is gonna put 100 or potentially $300 million in jeopardy, why the blank would I do it? And Terry Rozier, he was making he had signed a $95 million contract not too long ago. Yeah. So all this protective players, no, you have to have some damn discernment and have some discipline. Just because it's in front of you don't mean you need to do it. Come on, guys. You can't blame look. You can't blame everybody. Got to look inside yourself for a minute. You know, the NBA has done a great job of protecting the players. No, you shouldn't do it. You ain't got to do everything just because it's access. And like I said, and I understand, look, I understand you guys being young and you get so bored and a lot of these guys, look, it's not the point that they just have the money. A lot of times you have so much money and you're bored and you're looking for a thrill. But that shouldn't be the thrill if that's going to cost you a major amount of money. You have a chance, even if you're a mediocre NBA player, if you make the All-Star 2-3 times, then guess what? You have a chance in order to have a supermax contract, especially depending on the team you play for. So why would you jeopardize that? But I'll let y'all speak on it.
Honestly, this whole situation, it's crazy how deep it may run because yeah, like Flash was saying earlier, man, this all hinges on how deep the DOJ wants to go in with this because if they feel like there's a little smoke, they're gonna dig. They're gonna go like all in on this, and whoever's in on it, they're gonna be able to find. So it's just it's wild. And yeah, like I don't know. I feel like athletes who are gambling and stuff like this is like I don't know. It's kind of like you kind of like defeating the purpose of having these big money contracts. And I mean and even after like if you're paying like all like if you're paying your brand basically, so if like if you pay even you're paying your agent, you're paying your employees, anybody else you have employed underneath you, like any type of like social media or like your your publicity, your PR people, your public relations people. Even after paying all of them and then whatever bills you have, I mean, you should not be in like desperate need of like money. You should be well taken care of. And I don't know. I feel like they do it for like the thrill of it, just to, I guess the excitement of it. I feel like they do it because it's like a hobby. It's just something there to do. I don't think I don't know if it's necessarily like I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's like a thought out kind of like a different type of motive type of thing. I think they just do it because of the accessibility. I don't think there's really like not a lot of thought into it. But so like I don't like I haven't read up too much about it. I will say this though, I do think it's a little ironic that Chauncey Billups was going into his meeting or whatever about the situation wearing a clutch, a hoodie. I do think that's a little kind of uh-oh-ish kind of. so it's
I
like what I kind of want to I want to see where it goes, and I kind of want to see how far they go down the rabbit hole in this, and how many people are really, really involved. Because I just have this, I just have this suspicion it's gonna go deep. I have this sneaky suspicion it's gonna go deep. I just
is
feel
the
like this
is
is
the
more than just what we're seeing on the surface.
is the LeBron injury actually an injury?
I don't know.
I don't know. And I'm
Um,
gonna just be real. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he's trying to force a trade. I don't. I'm gonna just be real. I don't want him there at this point. I'm
he don't
just.
need to be in LA at this point. He
Don't really.
don't.
I don't really want. I am a LeBron fan. Let me. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what he has done, but guess what? It's kind of like I think he's overstayed his welcome. I think it's kind of like the Shaq and Kobe factor. It's just like because if you notice, Luca is worse with him on the court. When Luca without him on the court, MVP candidate. When LeBron is on the court, he feels like he has to acquiesce a little bit too much. So I really don't want him in LA. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to orchestrate a trade to Cleveland, so that he can get him another title or something like that. But I think there's a lot. Like I said, I really believe that.
I'll put it this way: if he randomly up and retires, I just
I mean, we've seen somebody randomly up and retire before.
yeah.
I mean, and it ironically it occurred after a ironically they were under the gun before that, and then some tragedies happened, and then all of a sudden,
Well, it isn't now. I can be talking out of. It's been years since I've looked into it, but I mean I was live when it happened. Obviously, wasn't there some rumors that the cause of Jordan's death, his dad's death, was because of gambling issues?
yeah,
There's some there's some
that was
rumors,
some
yeah.
rumors. There was some
I mean,
rumors going on, Mr. Watson. Michael Franzese, who was I think he was an underboss in the mafia, said that. He was an underboss. He was an underboss in the mafia. Said that.
that was more of like a.
It was more like an innuendo, but
Well,
Michael Fran-
I'm just saying.
Michael Franzese was knee deep in the mob. So
And the mob was a lot stronger back then than it is like now.
I mean, I'm gonna just be real. I'm gonna just be real. Look, I'm gonna just be very, very honest. Is it really not that strong, or is it not as visible? Because I'm gonna just be real. Just because something is not visible does not. What's that shit that what's the thing that Charlie Murphy and the absence of evidence is not the evidence of abstinence.
Evidence of absence.
Yeah, so I mean, just because you don't see a bunch of trench coats around doesn't mean these guys ain't around here waiting to whack your ass.
That's
Thank
true.
you for the Boondock. Thank you for the Boondocks reference, by the way.
You know, like I said, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of
Not
absence.
the evidence of absence.
So yeah, so we don't know how long these guys. And the thing is, guess what? If you really look back at it, and like I said, I'm minding my tongue. This is something that a lot of documentaries that I read because I love a lot of gangster movies. I love a lot of this. The way that John Gotti, the late great John Gotti, was out front like that, a lot of the old school guys didn't like that. They said we're a secret organization. We're not movie stars. We're secret organization. They shouldn't even know that we exist. So if you have to ask yourself after he got indicted and sent to prison, did they really disappear or did they just say, okay, things need to go back the way they used to be so people won't even know that we exist at a certain point? Because like I stated, there's some sharp. The mob helped build Las Vegas. The mob built Las Vegas. They built Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that they were always around. But the thing is, they're not as visible. Like I stated, just because something is not as visible as it once was before, doesn't mean that it isn't just as powerful. As a matter of fact, you're probably more powerful when you're invisible. You're
Oh, most
powerful.
definitely.
You're probably more powerful because guess what? If you don't know I'm pulling the strings, then hey, it's kind of like if we had a secret sponsor or something like that, and they put $1 million behind us and all of a sudden we blow up. They don't know who put the money behind us. They don't know who did this. So guess what? It is what it is. People don't know. Well, how did they blow up so fast? Was it organic? No, somebody put $1 million behind it. Well, who did it? Well, they don't even know who did it. So hey,
Just kind of to circle back a little bit to the NFL. The NFL's got their own issues right now with the John Gruden lawsuit. I mean that's another kind of red flag or like red stain right now on pro sports right now. Like again, if I'm the NFL, I keep my nose clean. Like this whole thing could get bad, and I'm not just talking about NBA, but like BRF said, like this could get bad. And again, I'm not just talking about NBA, but NFL too. Like this could get bad.
you got to ask yourself this too: how does this affect the WNBA? Because ironically, this happens directly during the collective bargaining agreement as well. So
Yep.
what if they start asking them, "Look, I need you to open up them books"?
Yep. Well, yeah. Well, here's the other thing.
Because the thing is this: people are going to find it quite ironic that you don't want to pay players. Peep this now. You don't want to pay players. People can talk about revenue or whatever, but you're selling franchises for $500 million.
Well, the other part too is the thing that we're as much as the NBA just got their new television streaming contracts and shit like that, like viewership's down, like by a lot.
Yeah, and look, I always say this, man. They start in the heat. Look, I'm gonna just be real. Let's just be very, very brutally honest. A lot of that is because of football. One of the reasons.
This was going on last year.
No,
It was down like 47% last year.
I know. Yeah, a lot of that was because of football. A lot of that because of football. And you got to think about this. There's no undisputed. Look, I'm gonna just be real. The reason why a lot of this investment is occurring in the W at this point, and it's getting bigger, is because I have time to get invested in these players as they're growing up.
But you can't. But the problem that they're running into right now is with now that they're doing what.
Because now
reason why
the NBA has three problems. They have the college basketball on the men's side. They have three problems. They have NIL, you have the transfer portal, and then you have one and done.
Yeah, but the other part of it too is like they're running into the same problem because now they have games on NBC and Peacock and then Amazon and Apple TV and they took away the NBA on TNT and now that's on this and then you have to have cable to watch their shit and then and now you can't watch. Like Bally Sports is what used to carry all the local stuff for here in like Wisconsin. That's going away. And they asked Adam Silver about that, and he was just kind of like he basically kind of took the TKO route, and it was just like, well, fuck
Watch
you.
the highlights.
What?
You know what he said? He said, "Watch the highlights."
He's like, watch the highlights on TikTok. It's like, fuck you, dude. And that's the thing. People are getting to the point right now when it comes to WWE, NBA, and all this shit. They're just going like, all right, well, fuck you then. Like, we're just not going to watch, or we're going to pirate it.
Well, the thing is, look, I'm gonna just be real. The only thing that I'm just gonna be able to say that people are gonna move heaven and freaking earth in order to watch is the NFL. That's the only thing that I can really think about that people are going to move heaven and earth. Whether you got to ask one of your friends for their shit, whether you got to, that is the only thing that you're going to move heaven and earth for in order to watch.
Right now, yeah, that's they're but even them, like they can't get too greedy. Again, you can't get too greedy. People are going to start again, and here's the thing, like. People are going to lose, I mean, I don't want to get good look, but people are going to lose their food stamps this upcoming month. Like people couldn't afford shit in general. And people are getting kind of tired of all this, like
these damn billionaires fucking them over. Let's just call it like it is. We get tired of getting fucked over.
Greedy asshole.
Not to be political myself, but look, there was a time where, let's just be honest. If you did, and I think we touched on this last week, if you didn't have anything else, you had sports.
You had sports.
Yep. Whether that be you paying $20 in order to go to your first game, in order to get in the nosebleed seats, or whether that be you watching it all day on not cable, local stations. I remember there was nothing in order for me to go to the local stations in order to watch CBS football all day long. It was nothing for me to go to the local station. Now, lucky for me, I got a chance to buy an antenna and I can zoom into the local stations. And I understand, okay, this is an antenna, it does its job. But a lot of people are not that fortunate to be able to, because they're doing away with those antennas for the local station. They're trying to make sure that you have to freaking pay for them. But there was a time where if you didn't have anything else, you had your favorite sports team. You was able to watch them. You were able to do something. And even with the pay-per-views, you were able to, they were only like $19, $20.
Well, the thing, like when I was at my sister's this weekend, we were talking about how much it costs to go to a baseball game now. Like I remember being a kid and skipping school and taking the bus down to County Stadium, and I could go down to County Stadium with $15 in my pocket. I could get a ticket. I'd scalp a couple bleacher tickets for like $2-3, and then I could still get a hot dog and a soda. And then I'd still have money left over to get back on the bus and go home, and then get in trouble for skipping school. But those days are gone. They're just gone. And again, like I said, people... You cannot keep that, like the one thing that the WWE Eric Bischoff can. I don't want to go. I'm not trying to transition to the WWE, but just to the whole point of like greed, the WWE in general. Eric Bischoff came out and said like he kind of defended like the upping in prices, and right now like the WWE, as much as they're having problems like viewership wise, they all their events are selling out. Like they're not hurting that way. So but at some point it's just gonna stop. Again, people are just gonna say, all right, that's enough. I'll go get mine from elsewhere.
Yeah. And you can't stop everything.
Nope.
Because hopefully we can get BRF back pretty soon. Check the chat. But yeah, I'm just gonna be very, very honest with you. And that answers my next question about everything. What do you think about Congress getting involved? Hey, if Congress getting involved, look, man, I'm gonna just be real. When you have organized crime, look, government gonna get involved. And this is not the first time. The Balco situation they got involved in. You know, there was a lot of eyeballs that were looking at the Michael Jordan situation. The feds got involved with the Tim Donahoe situation. There's a lot of look, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right, look, I'm gonna just be real. Right now, if you do so much as wipe your ass sideways, you're going down. I'm just gonna be. Let's just be real. They're not playing about crime right about now. So, in the great words of that police officer from Kid and Play, if I catch you fighting, if I catch you hanging with the brothers, if I catch you skipping school, if I catch you so much as wiping your ass sideways, I'm gonna bust you as an adult. That's what they doing right about now. So, I mean, and I know the FBI director said that Stephen A is a fool, but if you really think about a lot of his shit that he said has a little bit of validity to it when you think about how much that crime is is affecting a lot of policy. And I do emphasize crime. So let me put that in parentheses, crime. So yeah, there's a lot of validity to it. But you know, where there's crime, Congress is going to be involved, and Congress is trying to get their claws and everything else. And not only that, man, look, there's another underlying problem that's going to come that's coming into play when it comes to sports as well, especially when it comes to these American owners. The Middle Eastern factor is going to play a strong factor going forward. You already are seeing that the Saudi Arabian people are coming out with a women's league. And you know, if you know the Middle Eastern people like we know them, then guess what? They don't have no problem with emptying out that wallet and saying we'll give you this amount of money.
Yep.
You know, they already paid $55 billion, not million, billion. I didn't even know that type of money existed. $55 billion. Somebody got rich for EA Sports. Somebody got flipping rich. You couldn't spend that much money in 3 lifetimes if you tried. If you tried. So yeah, a lot of the American owners, they have that factor coming in as well. The Middle Eastern influence, because you know they already got their claws on TKO, they already got their claws in boxing at this point, and you got to ask yourself with this new women's league coming in, how long it will be before they get their claws on an NBA or NFL team, how far these salaries are going to go up, and look, got to ask yourself this: is it going to get to a point where we don't see owners anymore that come from American families anymore? When are these American sports going to go corporate? And are these teams going to be a part of corporations at a certain point?
Yeah.
You gotta ask yourself that. You know, I mean, that's how the Expos was ousted. You know, that's how come they end up moving to Washington, because of the salary increases, because of bad media deals, things of that nature. I encourage whoever to watch that documentary, "Who Killed the Montreal Expos," because that was a great documentary. Kind of the same thing about what, if you really look at the Seattle Supersonics, how they end up leaving Seattle and how the Expos end up leaving Montreal, it's sort of the same thing, a series of things. But I do not blame Congress for getting involved. Hey, man, look, man, that's how come. Look, your actions do not affect just you. Your actions affect everybody. So, got to keep it clean. Anything you want to add to that, BRF?
Mm, the only thing I'll say is that if I do think that it does run deep as far as this gambling scandal, but I will say this: if the DOJ is going to go for it, they better go for it, and the payoff better be there. There better be like names upon names upon names upon names, because I'm gonna just say the amount of effort, and I'm not saying they shouldn't put effort on this. They should, because this is some illegal stuff and this is bad. But I'm just saying, The amount of time they putting into this, they could be putting some time in releasing them files, but that's another conversation neither here nor there. So I'm gonna just say, if they go for it, I'm talking about the Rolodex gotta be
Huge.
fat. It gotta be fat with names. It gotta be fat with names. I mean, they better get the payoff they want to get for investigating this, and I'll just leave it at that. Release the other files. If you're gonna put your effort in this, release them other files, and I'll just leave it at that.
Anything else you want to add, Flash Man?
Hmm. Think it. Okay, I don't know if it stepped away for a minute.
She'll have to wait for a minute. Well, we'll move right along into college football. Brian Kelly fired. It was his fire justified at this point? I believe yes, but I'll let you decide. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly has continually showed time and time again he's not a big game coach, and it's like no matter where he's been, whether I mean, you know, since going to Notre Dame and then now being at LSU, I mean, he's just showed that being in bright lights, he's not made for it. And now, like the LSU team as a whole, isn't performing top to bottom, and that includes Garrett Nussmeier, who I've been like a big proponent of as being the best quarterback coming into next year's draft. He hasn't been playing up to par as of late. So I mean, at some point, when you're at a college like LSU, who have won multiple national championships, whether Nick Saban getting his first before he went to Alabama, or Les Miles winning championships, or Ed Orgeron getting the title. I mean, they've won championships. So Brian Kelly has some lineage to come into as far as how great of a university LSU has been over the last 2 decades. You might as well say. So yeah, I mean, he's not a big game coach. He's not, and he's continually showed himself to be that. He's like James Franklin of the SEC. He's the James Franklin of the SEC. He doesn't win big games. So his, just like James Franklin's firing, is pretty justified. So I mean, you have to I mean, for a college like LSU with the pedigree that they have to kind of be coming up short the way they have been. And I mean, they've made conference championship games. Don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong, but they they had no shot of winning those conference championship games. Like when they played Georgia like a couple years ago, like we knew LSU wasn't going to beat them. So it's like they need to find a way to put themselves in a situation where they're like among the upper echelon, the elite of college football. I think firing Brian Kelly was probably, you don't wish anyone to lose their job, but performance is performance. So LSU had to do what they felt was best for the university. So, like I said, Brian Kelly's not a big game coach. So I mean, they had to do what they had to do.
Flash Man.
I mean, he's had his overall record is 34-14.
Hmm.
But we all know in college football, just because you're good is not enough.
Especially in the
Um,
SEC.
especially in the SEC. And when you see Lane Kiffin doing well, Alabama losing Saban, and they're still humming and going. And you're not making any ground on any of these teams that supposedly we're going to take a fall back. I mean, is it justified? Sure, I guess. My question is, who are you going to go? Who are you going to go get? That's better. That's always my question when something like this happens, or a coach is fired, and it's kind of like, well, was it justified? It's like, who are you going to go get that's better? Now, if they can go get somebody that's better, then by all means, it was the correct position to go. I don't know who that guy is, but his record has been 10-4, 10-3, 9-4, 5-3. So he's just been he's been good. His record in the SEC has been 19-10 overall. You know, it's not great, but it's not bad. So there's higher expectations at LSU.
Yeah.
So if you can go get, like you said, if you can go get better, then go get better. But I'm just curious where they go when it comes to that what.
I should note that both of his assistants, one in Vanderbilt and the other in Texas A&M, one of them is 7-1 and the other is 8-0, which will transition us perfectly into the next segment. Is Texas A&M the most underrated team in NC2A, and do people even realize that they're number 3 in the nation right now?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about everybody wants to talk about Alabama. When you talk about the SEC, everybody wants to talk about Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. I'm like, well, none of them are number 3. Texas A&M is, and I'm like, how are you the most underrated team when you're number 3 in the nation? So, uh, so you got to ask yourself that question. So,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
all right, let's go ahead and let's move on to the anything you want to add.
I
Terry?
mean, you have to yeah. I think at this point right now you have to say Texas A&M being the number 3 team in the country and not getting the talk as like you know, Alabama, Georgia still being the talk of the SEC, and Texas A&M being number 3. I think you have to say Texas A&M right now is the most underrated team in the country. I think part of that is because I think people want to see that. Eventually they feel like they want to see that against those upper echelon schools because I do have they played Bama yet? I think they do still have them on the schedule. So that will be the test for them if they have them on the schedule, which I do think they still have them on the schedule. So that will be the test for them. But yeah, right now A&M has to be the most underrated team in the country.
All right, then. All right, let's get through these next couple before we run out of time. All right, real quick. Are the Indiana Hoosiers ready for the challenge? Can they dethrone Ohio State in the Big Ten? Real quick. Yes or no?
I don't think they can.
No.
Flash?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. I mean, we talked about it last week that we don't think anybody can beat Ohio State right now. So I mean, that's
I don't think so either. I really think Ohio State, they're too deep, they're too big, and that offense is too explosive. They've only allowed 5.8 points a game on the defensive side. So yeah. So
I'll say this. I'll say this though. If there's any Big Ten quarterback that can give Ohio State some hell, it's Fernando Mendoza.
okay. I agree with you on that. Who's the most underrated team in college football? Real quick.
Most underrated in college football. I think it has to. I think it has to be. Right now. It's probably either A&M or Indiana. I
Okay.
would go with one of those two. I would go with one of those two.
Uh, Flash.
same. Same. That's kind of where I'm at.
All right, real quick. This is Arch. Y'all seen that Arch Manning big time comeback last night? That big time comeback win. He was down, wasn't doing too good in the first half. Came back and just aired it out like a Steeler fan. Is this his true form? Is this the beginning of the best part? I know he got hurt, but can you see him doing some things like that next year when he matures and the maturation process goes into effect? Is that really him? And all the things that we were seeing this season is just little snippets?
If he's healthy,
He's healthy.
I do that. If he's healthy, I do think that I do think Arch Manning has some serious talent. But if he's healthy, because I mean that's probably like one of the first real instances that he looked healthy. So
Yeah.
if he's healthy, we might finally get to see the Arch Manning that a lot of people were kind of projecting that we were going to get this year in this offense. I'm hoping he's healthy because I want to look. I'm rooting for him because I want to see him succeed. And it's not just because he has that last name; it's because he's got talent. I'm hoping he's healthy. He looked healthy for the first time in a while. He looked like it was all systems go because he came out in that second half and he was guns blazing. He looked healthy, so I'm hoping he can maintain it.
I hope so as well. Anything you want to add on that, Flash?
No, I mean, if again, it's the same thing. We've all thought that he's been hurt, like a shoulder injury or something has been going on all year. So because when he played last year, he was great. So I don't, I've always, yeah, I think this will be the norm if he's healthy.
Real quick, let's try to blow through these last few before the time runs out on us. Uh, College football playoff combos conversations. Will there be a controversy if too many SEC teams make it to the college football playoffs?
No, beat him, beat him, beat him. I mean, it's not their fault. They've kind of find footing again, being deep again. Like it's Alabama, it's Georgia, it's A&M, it's Vanderbilt,
Ole
it's
Miss,
Ole Miss. It's not their fault. They're deep again. Beat them. Simple as that. Just beat them.
Flash.
Same.
I don't think that I don't think there's going to be a controversy, but you're going to have your little whiners up north who are going to sit around here. Oh my God! Like, bro, and look. Before people look, SEC is back this year. If you really look at the Big Ten right about now, they're very, very top heavy. It's them. It's Ohio State and Indiana. That's it. Ohio State and Indiana. It's Ohio State and Indiana. And other than that, unless Michigan can beat Ohio State, which it's probability, they've beaten them every year thus far, then those are the only two up north. I will include Oregon, but they don't impress me. They don't impress me, especially this year. They don't impress me. But as you saw, Penn State on down, Michigan, no, UCLA, all those other schools in the Big Ten, no. Well, UCLA, that's weird. Even saying they're in the Big Damn Ten, that's weird. Uh, UCLA I always used to relate them to the Pac-12, but yeah, they're real top heavy this year. SEC is kind of the main teams right about now. So I mean, I don't think there should be a controversy, but you're gonna have your whiners out there if that happens. So just be prepared. In the great words of Uncle Scar from Lion King. Despite this victory, real quick, is Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat still?
Oh yeah, he's still on the hot seat.
Yeah.
He's still on the hot seat. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. You beat Atlanta. You beat in Atlanta. You beat a team in Atlanta that I don't even want to say they looked past you. They just didn't prepare like they should have. But nah, bro, you still on the hot seat. You say you kind of saved your face for a little bit, but you come out and you lay like you get this win, but then you come out and lay more eggs. Oh no, yeah, nah. We just because you got today, we still don't trust you. We still don't fully trust you.
Okay.
You just beat a team. You just beat a team. A lot of fans just don't trust either. So you just kind of saved yourself a little bit, but you still in the hot seat.
Mm.
I I'm still confused about how the hell that happened today. I'm still baffled by that. Yeah, I'm still just baffled.
He's still on the hot seat.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
All right, real quick. Who's the best team in the NFL right now?
Mm, the team that's playing the best is probably Indy, in my opinion, right now. But I wouldn't pick them in a big time setting against like a Kansas City or a Philly, just because they just have guys that have been there. Like but I would probably still lean the Philadelphia Eagles if we're looking at talent and all systems go. Because if Jalen Hurts is going to continue to play like this, and then if you have Saquon Barkley like back on schedule with that defense that they still possess, I think it's still the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, I still think it's Philly. I just, if we're going to look at all the teams and go like, all right, if all teams are playing at their peak, it's still Philly.
All right. Let's see. The Browns are boo boo. Only scored over 17 points one time this season. Should we feel bad for Niles Garrett?
No, he took the money. All that whining and bitch, and he took the money. I don't give a crap about. He can suffer in Cleveland for the rest of his life for all I care. I'm sure he's just wiping his ass with his $20 bills or whatever it is. I don't really care. I don't feel bad for him. I want to play for a winner. Well, never mind. Whatever. I think the bigger question is there's rumors coming out there that Shador is looking just as good as the other kid, and don't be shocked if they start him soon.
There's rumors. I don't think that, just real quick, I don't think that Shador is Kevin Stefanski's cup of tea. And I don't
Nope,
think
that's what I was
it
about to say.
and I don't think it had, and before people start reaching out and start playing the R card, I don't think it's because of that. I don't think he likes confident quarterbacks. I don't think he likes very, very arrogant quarterbacks, if you really want me to be honest with you. I don't think he likes arrogant quarterbacks. Look at how he treated Baker Mayfield. Look at how he treated Baker Mayfield. I don't really think he likes very, very confident quarterbacks. And, you know, quite frankly, I don't know what's going to happen with Shador's career. I think he's able to play. It'll be interesting to see because the thing is, let's just call a spade a spade. Flacco didn't really do a lot in Cleveland. All right. And although he lost just today
He
because of
played
that,
well.
huh?
He played well.
Yes, he scored. They put the Cincinnati Bengals has put up 33 at an average of 33 points the last two games. So I mean,
It's the Cincinnati Bengals. Look who he's got to look who he's got to throw to, and look who he's get to handing it to in Cincinnati.
again, they have a terrible ass offensive line. Let's just keep it all the way above. I mean, look at what Jake Browning was doing before he got there.
Yep.
So we can't just say, "Oh, you got all these weapons," because if look, I always tell
Joe
people,
Flacco is still a better quarterback than Jake Browning. Let's keep it a buck.
I understand that, but the thing is, if anybody could do it, everybody could. Let's just keep it a buck. And I even went on record as saying, "Hey, you traded an Oldsmobile for an Oldsmobile when they traded for Joe Flacco." So yeah, for him, I mean, and Joe Flacco is not the most running quarterback or the most mobile quarterback we've ever seen. Even
No,
back
but
in the day.
but those weapons in Cincinnati are no joke.
Yeah. Yeah, the weapons.
Joe Flacco, unlike Jake Browning, has the throwing arm that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase they can't outrun him. They can't outrun his arm. So,
but yeah, now that he's up somewhere where they actually have some talent and they actually have a little bit of coaching, you see that hey, he's able to put up some points. So I don't think, and like I stated, I don't think this has anything to do with the R card. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
no, it doesn't.
I just think that Kevin Stefanski does not like cocky quarterbacks. I think he has.
Look, you know what? Whatever Kevin Stefanski's doing, it ain't working. I don't give a shit what he likes at this point. So at this point, like he can keep saying he doesn't like arrogant quarterbacks, but he keeps picking really stupid ones. So just saying, at some point, everybody keeps saying that he's a great coach. I'm waiting for it. I am. I'm sorry, but like, I'm waiting for it, and I ain't seeing it.
I mean, they say all they want about Baker Mayfield being cocky, but who was the quarterback for Kevin Stefanski when they got to the divisional round of the playoffs a few years ago?
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, and like I stated, that's how come I keep telling everybody, because you know there's some stupid ass idiot, excuse my language, there's some stupid ass idiot who's going to come up here and try to play the R card. He did the same thing to Baker Mayfield. He was trying to oust his ass out of there, although, Baker was winning. Baker was like almost took him to an AFC championship. So there's some dumbass idiot who's going to try to play up that card. No, that's not the case. It's just, I don't think Kevin Stefanski wants that quarterback to be this major personality. I don't think that he likes, I think it's the Bill Parcells effect. I don't think that he likes Hollywood quarterbacks. Bill Parcells didn't either.
Nope.
Bill Parcells didn't like Hollywood quarterbacks.
Nope.
So, yeah.
And honestly, and if he did, he probably would have more rings.
Yeah. But what's so funny about that, he didn't like Hollywood quarterbacks, but he dealt with Lawrence Taylor's ass. But
Yeah.
that's Lawrence Taylor. That was the funniest thing. He used to tell all his quarterbacks, "Don't go all Hollywood on me," but you got the biggest Hollywood dude in the locker room with you.
Lawrence, Lawrence Taylor was Bill Parcells kind of psycho, and Bill Parcells kind of dug that. He was his kind of psycho on the football field. So you're not gonna. Lawrence Taylor is just a shade of crazy that Bill Parcells could get behind.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the ironic thing about it. But I mean, I digress. Uh, I don't know. I don't feel bad for Miles. I hate that his career is being wasted, much like Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, one of the greatest left tackles of all time, never even got a chance to go to a playoff or even make a deep playoff run or even play in the Super Bowl. And now you have Myles Garrett, who's arguably the greatest defensive player of his generation. He's better than Micah. He's better than TJ Watt. He's better than a lot of these players. But unfortunately for him, he has more sacks before the age of 30 than Reggie White. Let that sink the blank in. Let that sink in for a second.
He's already at he's already at 109.5.
No, he's 110 right now.
110. Yeah, he's at 110 already.
5 sacks and your team loses by 19 damn points. That is freaking ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I don't feel sorry for him, but I feel bad that he will never. I don't think he's ever going to get a shot at the Super Bowl. I don't ever think he's going to get his just due. And if he does, it's going to be kind of towards the end of his career, kind of like DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
Knowing DeMarcus Ware went to Denver. And
I'll say this, though. I think even though he took the money in Cleveland, I think he's looking at that regime and he's looking at how things are go. Because we know how these athletes are. They could change they tune up quick in about a year or so. If they're not feeling like the front office is doing everything in their power to build a winner, he could change his tune. It's going to be harder now that he's got that contract, but we'll see where it is in about a year or so.
Yeah, but you could have had that. Look, let's just be all the way above. You could have would have got that contract anywhere else. They would have glad you paid. You could have got that contract in Atlanta. You could have got that contract in Green Bay. If they paid Michael that type of money, can you imagine what they would have paid Myles Garrett?
Oh, they'd have gave him more.
They'd have gave him the Brinks truck probably. So you could have got it in Pittsburgh. I doubt they would have traded you without them trading the farm, the horse, and the damn ladies and the chickens. But yeah, you could have got to Pittsburgh. But yeah, I think it was a mistake. Look, I don't know about the rest of these players. We got to move on before a certain marker comes on. But I don't know about the rest of these players. But I'm not finna play just for damn money, and you're not finna run my knees into the damn ground for the next 10 damn years, and I don't get a chance to sniff the playoffs. Hell no. I'm not finna run myself into the ground. I don't even get a chance to make the playoffs. I don't get a chance to experience it. I don't get a chance to. Every year it's a losing season. Just because you threw some money in my face? Hell no. Not at all.
But like you said, just because the steak's in front of you doesn't mean you have to eat it.
No, indeed not, man. Leave that damn porterhouse where it at. You don't need all that damn food. Okay. 2K for JSN. Can he receive for over 2,000 yards? He already has 800 yards. And He played. I think he played. I think the Monday. Let me see and look what the Monday night game is.
They're off this week, I think.
Yeah, they off this week. Yeah, they off this week. But the very next, let me see who they play next week.
I'm going
They
to say
play the
yeah because
Commander.
they got that extra game, but I'm not going to count it.
They play the Commanders next week, which means he has a chance to run through them like a hot knife through butter at this point.
Because of the extra game, but I'm not going to count it as a record breaker.
No, I'm not going to do that just because it's 17 games. I'm not going to do that.
I'll be the hater.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Not just because it's 17 games. Hey, I get it's an extra game, but I mean, it's just one. It's just one game. I'm not. I'm no. If you break you do something. You do something with an extra. I don't care. You do it in 17 games. That's still. Yeah. No. If he
I'm
can
gonna
if he can do it if he can do it, more power to him, because even with the 17 game, it still ain't been done.
just be real. If you really want me to be honest with you, OJ still got the rushing record
Yeah, he did it in what 14,
in
right?
14 games. Not
I am not one of those types. I am not doing that.
I'll be a
Oh,
bitch like that. That's why.
he did this in such a money. No, I'm
he
not
did
doing
it
that.
in
Records
14.
are records. They're
Look,
meant to be broke. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
he did it in
Mm-mm.
14, he did it in 14 games, and he did it in
I I get it, but
But,
still,
but why? So then, like, if all of a sudden, like, the NFL season goes to like 20 games,
I don't think they will allow that.
I'm just saying though, like, all of a sudden they go to like, well, we're gonna add another game. Like, at one point, like, do we go? All right, do we just need to do a redo on the record books? Like,
when like 5 or 6 people break something in the season, then come talk to me. The fact that records still aren't being done with added games.
look at passing yards and passing touchdowns.
What about
Everybody
it?
goes for over 4,000 yards now, and that used to be like that
Big.
used to be something. Now, if you don't throw for 4,000 yards, you're ass.
That's also, yeah, but that's also rules changes and schematics and coaching and all that stuff.
I know exactly. That's my point. That's kind of my point of like where, at what point do we start saying that, maybe we need to like, make records, some do something, because you can't, that's why I hope they never change Major League Baseball, like the length.
They'll never change 162 games in baseball. They'd be stupid if they added games
No,
to that.
and I don't want them to change the NBA league season either. As much as people don't watch it as much as they used to, I don't want them changing that either, because then you just, again, like, we're going to run into the situation now. Like, it used to be 12 games in the NFL, and then it was 14, and it was 16. Now it's 17, and and now, like, if they're like, well, it's uneven now. We got to make it 18. That's going to happen at some point. They'll get rid of another preseason game and make another regular season game because they want them dollars. And then at some point, we're just going to like, well, does it really count? Like, because now you're at 18 games. Now you're playing 4 more games than what OJ did.
Yeah, I think it'll stop. It'll start. It'll be another milestone.
Like,
Yeah.
like you'd have to do eras of like the 16 game schedule era, and then the 16 and 18 game schedule era, and then the 12 and 14 schedule game. Like, you'd have to do something, because it would just be.
It would have to take like 3 or 4 people in the same year to rush for 2,000 yards before I feel like we could legitimately have this conversation.
I don't know. It just feels.
You imagine like 5 people rushing for 2,000 yards. He rushed.
No. If that was to happen in the same year, then maybe we could talk business. But the fact that Eric Dickerson's record is still held up for this long with the extra game, it's like,
It still feels
I
like.
know we're a little older, but I mean, like, come on, people, come on, people.
Look. It just feels like if, let's say, he does get it, like, breaks 2,000.
Hey, I am giving him love. I'm recognizing it. It is the record. I don't care. It's the record.
It feels like when the Colts put up that Final Four banner and like we were the finalists for the NFL playoffs that one year, like in 2014. They put up that banner and they're just like everybody fucking ridiculed them like they were like really we're gonna give you're gonna give yourself a participation trophy like come on like I just I don't know. Maybe I'm too old and crotchety. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know, but I just think it's a little. I think it's just a discussion that needs to be had at some point. Just saying.
Right.
Like I said, if multiple people can break a record like that, maybe. But if we're still having this conversation and no records are being broken, then I'm like, where's the weight? Where's the weight?
Hey, I feel you. Last question, last and final question. Or in the great words of a famous rock band, the final countdown.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But yeah, final question. Last one before we end the show. Real quick. No QB for MVP. Can we finally see another position for the NFL MVP this year? Gotta be quick, guys.
Not yet. I guess Baker's playing too well. You got Danny Dimes. If let's say they go 15-2, or you just got too many quarterbacks right now. That's somebody that's not he's not in it, and it's a shame because I'm starting to get Jalen Hurts is slowly putting together a real good case for MVP. There's a lot. There's a lot of. I just think no, not quite yet.
Nah, I'm with Flash. We're not there yet as far as another position player winning MVP. We're not there yet. This is still a quarterback's award.
Okay. Look, I'll say this. I know that we're saying no right now, but right now, before we end the show, Jonathan Taylor has 15 touchdowns through 8 games. The last time that happened, a running back won the MVP. That was in the form of LaDainian Thompson. So, and he's on pace to break over 2,000 yards. So he's on pace to not only break the 2,000 yard record, but to also break the touchdown record. So if he breaks both of those this year, he's the undisputed MVP. I don't care what anybody says. He's the undisputed MVP. If he's able to cross 2,000 yards and do that,
if he breaks Dickerson and the touchdown record,
yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to give it to him at that point.
MVP. And if that, if that doesn't work, we complain online.
Yeah. If he breaks Dickerson record and LT touchdown record, oh yeah, you got to give it to him at that point.
Yes, indeed. But on that note, man, look, man, we breezed through the show, man. Look, man, I got to give us the round of applause here. So,
Jesus, this man has a soundboard.
But on that note, man, we're gonna end the show on this note, man. Anything you got to add, man?
No, I think we're good to go.
I like this platform.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
All right, then. We'll sound the horn one more time. Look, I'm immature, man. I'm just being real.
Just be thankful I don't have control of that.
So, on that note, man, I salute everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. God loves you, so do we. Good night. Holla at you.